All right, welcome back to part two of K-Niche. We left off just where we're about to look at the example of Dell and their plan in operating and controlling. Now, Dell Computers has really developed a completely different strategy than most other computer manufacturers. Now, they combine just-in-time manufacturing with just-in-time ordering. Now, I'll explain what that means in a second. The way they do their business is really three-pronged. They partner with suppliers and customers and design their computers in a way that makes all three seem part of the same organizational team. Um, Build to order manufacturing and mass customization allow them to keep their costs down massively, their quality up, and their computers fit the needs of their customers. Okay, so they're trying to really adapt to what the customer wants. Most manufacturers of computers are often stuck with outdated materials because they're holding too much stock that over time has just you know become out of date because of the nature of that market. A lot of computer makers have an inventory that they often have to wait to be depleted before they can create the next model. So they're slow in the way that they keep up with technology. As each new model comes out, those left unsold become obsolete. Okay, nobody wants an old computer anymore, just like the old computer chips in inventory. Now, their suppliers partner with them in other parts of the world. Okay, so we're building of factories, okay, and optimal production and ordering methods keep their costs down and their quality up. So once again, costs down, quality up, which in essence means it's a lower retail price for the consumer. They can pass on those costs, even though it's the same quality of maybe their competitors. The shift to their they shifted and reorganized their plants in 1997 to sell manufacturing techniques, whereby a team of workers at a group workstation or assemble an entire PC according to customer specifications. So, as you can see here, according to the customer specifications, they're going to construct PCs differently. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. This change in their production technique has decreased their production time by up to 75% and reduces the amount of time they take to deliver, and especially customer order computer to their door. So, much like Henry Ford, where he reduced the hours from 700 hours to an hour and a half, Dell was also doing the same, where they cut it by up to 75%. One thing about classical scientific approach is the way that the hierarchy is set up. Okay, now the structure of a business refers to the way the work activities are allocated and grouped, and the amount of regulation there is, and who is given the authority to make decisions. Now, within every business, within every sport, within every family, there's a hierarchy. Okay, but it's how that's divided up that differs with scientific and classical approach. Now, with this, they believe that the best structure of business was based on a pyramid structure, and we'll have a look at that in a second. The division of labour, a rigid chain of command, which means people know their place within that hierarchy, and small spans of control. So you're only looking after a small amount of things. It's almost micromanaging in a way. The pyramid structure consisted of a few managers at the top and pretty much the workers at the bottom. In the middle, you've got several layers of middle management who need to supervise the people beneath them. Okay, realistically, with the pyramid control, it's orders, authority, and power flow down. Okay, so this is very similar almost to an army model or the police force. Okay, where the span of control is small and power needs to flow and decisions made from the top, with the rest actually instituting those. Okay, and that's usually in line with strategic direction of the company, operational and tactical as well. In turn, the information and accountability actually then flows back up. So if at the bottom, the workers here are actually completing a task that has been designated to them through the hierarchy, okay, and something happens, the accountability actually sits with those above. okay, because they were the ones that made that strategic decision. Information then also flows back up to the top where they make decisions and then regulate and make new orders, okay? With scientific classical approach, autocratic leadership is one of the main methods used by managers, okay? Pretty much this means leaders make all the decisions, they dictate the work methods, it limits worker knowledge and autonomy, frequently check-in of employee performance, okay, and motivating through punitive measures. So it's almost tangible things you can, if you complete or if you make this many hamburgers in this amount of time, we will give you, a raise or whatever it might be. This has its downfalls and it's also got its positives. So it can be effective in a time of crisis when immediate compliance with rules or procedures is needed, okay? Meeting unexpected deadlines or when subordinates lack skills and knowledge. So there's always someone in place who knows exactly what needs to be done. Two people who were very atypical of this was Gordon Ramsay. Okay, Gordon Ramsay, if you've ever seen any of his shows, he's very much an autocratic leader, and a lot of his work's on fear, but he centralizes the decision making to himself. Donald Trump is also atypical of an autocratic leader who centralizes decision making and wields absolute power. Okay, he involves himself with the smallest of details of his business, of his enterprise, and limits inputs from a selected few in the team. So they're just two examples and very, famous examples of autocratic leadership. Now, you've got to look at the advantages and disadvantages of autocratic management and also the classical scientific approach. Among the advantages, there's directions and procedures are clearly defined. Everybody in the business knows what their role is, and there's not much around this that you need to know. If you can complete well within your team and what your responsibility is, then you'll probably go well in that organisation. Okay, the roles and expectations are set out plainly, and management can easily monitor. Okay, because if there's a set job that needs to be done, managers know that and they can then report and monitor based on that. And the hierarchical structure also provides a stable and consistent environment in which the outcomes, they always match the management objectives, as I've talked about before. Disadvantages: employees aren't allowed much input, okay? Ideas are not encouraged or shared. So if you're someone who wants to be creative, you're not really going to fit in within this kind of business. It ignores the importance of employee morale and motivation. Now, there's been a couple of, as I said with McDonald's before, they've tried to think of ways to get around this, and a lot of that is through punitive motivation methods. When there's no responsibility given to lower level staff, your job satisfaction decreases, and that in turn can actually mean more money for the business because it increases absenteeism and also staff turnover. So thanks again. That's our classical scientific management, and as the bell goes, okay, very appropriately, this is Kanish signing out again. All right, that one there, wrong way around. There we go, Kanish. All right, have a good day.